More info dumped. This time it's about Hillary Clinton's email server. It's a bunch of stuff coming out today. We got the MLK files that the FBI that Tulsi Gabbard dropped pertaining to the FBI and their surveillance on Martin Luther King. And then we got some more stuff on Hillary Clinton. It shows just how bad the cover up for Hillary Clinton really was, and we now know that, of course, Barack Obama was behind the cover up. He didn't really feel like dealing with it at the time. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about how she got away with her homebrewed email server with confidential and secret information on there. We're going to talk about that. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from Red State, and they report that declassified documents from both Obama and Biden years are coming out, and now at what is nearly dizzying speed. The latest, Senator Chuck Grassley has released some recently declassified documents pertaining to Her Imperial Majesty Hillary and other government officials' email traffic possibly being hacked by foreign powers. And I've been alluded to this. I said China, she basically set up a Dropbox. This is what Hillary Clinton did. She basically set up a Dropbox where she would put classified information in there, and then the highest bidder that gives money to the Clinton Foundation, whether it's China, whether it's Russia, what have you, would get the details to that little Dropbox, to that server where they can go in. They call it hack. It wasn't a hack. She gave them the password and stuff to go in and look at the classified information. That's what I believe was actually went down. Here you go. Chuck Ross said Chuck Grassley released newly declassified DOJ Inspector General report on the so-called Clinton Annex, an assessment of foreign intrusion into Hillary Clinton's email server. First, there are allegations of election interference. So let's go over some highlights. Redacted is relevant to the mid-year investigation of two ways. First, in Redacted, the FBI obtained redacted reports. I bet you that was classified reports, purporting to discuss efforts to influence the mid-year investigation. The initial redacted report suggested that the Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, and then FBI Director James Comey were interfering with the mid-year investigation to help the Democratic and Republican candidates, respectively. The second report stated that Lynch had been in contact with the named individual working for the presidential campaign of former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton about the mid-year investigation. That looks a lot like federal law enforcement and the DOJ trying to influence elections. But here's the interesting bit. There were collected as data no less than 8 USB drives described as thumb drives collected from the source named T1. Now, in an investigation where these were collected as evidence, you would think that the FBI would have examined all 8 drives, yes? No. Kind of like the hacked DNC server, which the FBI never looked at. They took CrowdStrike's, they had CrowdStrike look into it. You would think the FBI themselves would look into it, but they took CrowdStrike's word when it came to the DNC servers. It's just like this. So the FBI don't actually investigate. They're literally called the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Don't do any type of investigation. Why wouldn't they look at the 8 drives? It's because they were disinterested. They didn't want to know what was on them drives. Wow. Thumb drive 1 through 5 primarily contain data exfiltrated by Redacted from various U.S. victims, including the Executive Office of the President, EOP, the State Department, federal agencies, and private sector and educational institutions. FBI employees told us that it was highly unlikely that data exfiltrated from other unknown U.S. victims was also present on these thumb drives. Thumb drive 6 through 7 contain redacted and cyber intrusions with some U.S. victim data included as attachments. Thumb drive 8 was not reviewed. Here's the onion. In the section we discuss 2 redacted reports that the FBI obtained and redacted. Both reports indicated information suggesting that then AG Lynch was attempting to exert influence on the mid-year investigation or was providing information about the investigation to former Secretary Clinton's campaign. In addition, the first redacted report suggested that Comey was taking steps to extend the mid-year investigation to help undermine the Democratic Party. Yeah, right. We know that he bailed out Hillary Clinton. Redacted as described in the section, witnesses told us that the report were not credible on their face for various reasons, including that they contained information that the FBI knew to be objectively false. Despite this assessment, Comey told the OIG that he was concerned that the information might leak beginning in mid-June 2016, and that this concern was a factor in his decision not to inform Lynch of his plan to make a public statement on July 5th, 2016. So he went around Loretta Lynch and did that interview. Well, it wasn't an interview. He did that. He made that statement on television where he was like, "Yeah, here I'm gonna lay out all the crimes that Hillary Clinton really committed, but we're not gonna investigate her because no reasonable prosecutor, quote unquote, would investigate these crimes." She literally got caught with classified information on her homebrewed server and nothing happened to her. What do you think that would have happened to you and I? If you or me had classified information on our personal email, our personal servers, what do you think would have happened to us, right? You think Comey would have came out and said no reasonable prosecutor will prosecute us? And later, from one of these transcribed reports, according to Wasserman Schultz, so far the FBI does not have any hard evidence against Hillary Clinton because data was removed from the email servers just in time. Isn't that obstruction? Isn't that obstruction? It's kind of like when she went and she hammered, remember she put a hammer to those hard drives so that he couldn't look at the hard drives and nothing happened to her. Obama is not in the mood to mar the very final segment of his presidency. His legacy with a scandal around a leading nominee for the Democratic Party. To deal with this, he is using Attorney General Loretta Lynch to mount a pressure on FBI Director James Comey, alas, so far with no concrete results. Wow. So Obama didn't want to deal with it. He didn't want to mar his presidency. So he said, yo, let's try to go around. Let's try to pressure Comey to save Hillary Clinton. There's a lot more to this mess. A lot of it is redacted and the rest couches some torturous language, but at least now it's public record. This is another piece of the puzzle in which we see a report indicating that a sitting president was using his cabinet level officials to not only preserve his legacy, but to likely hide data harmful to his chosen successor. In the coming days, it's very likely we'll see a lot more of this. So, wow. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave y'all comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.